Hello everyone. Yes, I'm a little bit late, but I'm here nevertheless. I'll wait for a few people to connect. Those of you who don't know, I'm a psychic medium. We are going to be having a look at the collective energy as well as the astrology aspects that are affecting us at the moment. So I'll wait for everyone to connect. I know you've been dying to hear about this information, but you know what's going on. It's just a shit show. But I'll wait for everyone and loving support. I'm here through my purging and BS happening during the week. So I'm here. I've made it. Hello, Canada. A very warm welcome. Giggle. Thank you, Giggle, for being a moderator. I deeply appreciate you. Everyone, please. Warm welcome for Giggle. She will be moderator tonight. Hi, Elizabeth. Very warm welcome. April, hello. Now, I'll wait for people to connect. Now, do share this information with your friends while they feel they're going batshit crazy during this very interesting transit. A lot of us have been experiencing this really probably for the last 2 months. Now, as a medium, I directly experience the vibration. And look, you know, ask another medium, go for gold. 9 times out of 10, what I've felt is people that have done a lot of work energetically, that are spiritually inclined, that are receptive to frequencies and energies, being an empath, you do tend to vibrationally feel the energy of what is coming prior. Now, in March, I was feeling an energy of Saturn retrograde. You also do go through an upgrade spiritually. You also are noticing a lot of lower frequency energies coming towards you during that time. And it's the shittiest time to have a purge because you're thinking, look, I'm really feeling pretty crap. But you're having a purge, you're having your upgrade, you're receptive to the energies, and you're purging that process. Now, a lot of feminines at the moment, and I'm going to touch base on masculine energies because this is collective energy, not just twin flames, collective energy as a whole. We are going through things in a very unique way. I know that for masculines, it's very 3D. For feminines, it's very 5D. Now, when I say 5D, a lot of the purge that you're having can be very much connected to your hopes and dreams. We are also having a purge through the level of allowing a cycle to end completely. Now, if you do watch the Leo King, he talks connected to the transit, and I have been mentioning probably potentially for the last 3 months, it's felt like we're having a funeral of the past, and very much so, it's very relevant. We are looking at our hopes and dreams. We are looking at what we wanted, what we, you know, and the purge last year was about getting in touch with the connection. Hi, Libra. Getting in touch with what was blocking us, and we were doing a lot of work on that, and, you know, you almost look at a spiritual path and go, gosh, am I squeezing myself out to the point where there's any more left to come up energetically? Some people receptively won't be feeling it, but they will feel it in the weeks coming. Now, with the Libra moon, we had the 0 degree point in March during Mercury retrograde. Don't quote me. My head's quite, you know, with a lot of information at the moment. But the energy transferring over into April at the 29 degree point is the end of that cycle. We also have the new moon in Aries coming through, so we're going to have another transition. So there's 2 transitional states we're having as the Libra and the Aries frequency. It is ending a 37-year cycle of the way we're being, and as the Leo King mentioned, he did an article, and he does his astrology in a very unique way. Not only does he connect it in a format of what the direct transit is, but he backdates it and looks at history, which is very eloquent in the way he does it. When we do look at that, it can both trigger us and make us quite sad, because we are ending a time frame in which we were doing things and having relationships and connections in a particular format. And when we do look at the fact that a lot of love and the way our relationships were, it's a very codependent pattern. So we're breaking those paradigms. And second wives, I'll touch base on twin flames briefly. We'll go back to that a little bit later. The second waves are to break down the paradigms of what a traditional relationship is. And so the reason why both masculine and feminine find it so difficult is because society has changed. It doesn't fit, but we're wanting an aspect of that to fit because it's what we were taught, it's what we know, okay? So the sad purge is that doesn't work anymore. It doesn't fit. It doesn't fit this new paradigm. We're moving into a different era of connections and relationships. With the Aries frequency being in the first house, it's very much about me. So it is very, you know, the Libra energy is about connections, although the placement of the planet is moving from Pisces into Aries. So it's about me, first house, self, what you want. So all of you might feel this disconnect, which is the problematic energy, but it's serving a purpose. So, you know, if you can disconnect and you can actually look at it, the reality is you can lead a horse to water, you can't make a drink, and you definitely can't make a drink if it doesn't know that it's thirsty. I'm just saying, you know, think about it. If you've been looking at your connections and been thinking, is this person going to own their bloody power? Do they know what they want yet? Well, trust me, the friggin' Aries energy is going to make you really think about that. That is the heaviest energy. It's the blessing in disguise. It's the catalyst to change. The disconnect that all of us are feeling is because we need to take accountability about what we want. Nobody can fill our cup. And how can we have a bloody Libran union or a cup connected if we as feminines can't look back and allow that past to end? Now, it's painful because many of you on a spiritual journey had plans, had hopes, had dreams, expectations. The reality is, while you've been holding on and you've been looped into the 5D, it's been the glue that's binded the situation to take you forward. But disconnecting from codependent patterns means you need to stop at some point and understand, what do you want? Not what you wanted yesterday, because things have changed. You know, your biological clock might have changed. Your exact needs might have changed. Your energy of understanding that you needed to actually utilize a lot of your masculine frequency through your ascension journey. You might have been a single parent. You may have had to step into your frequency to say the word no. You may have lost friends. All of those transitions are huge, huge things. And in doing that, a lot of us, because we were looped into the 5D, the blockage in it is not understanding that to alchemize such, you need to believe in the 3D, okay? So in knowing that we see in our crown chakra and our belief, we feel the vibration, we knowingly have this connection with people, with our belief system. The problem is we were so anchored into having a 5D relationship that when we were looking at the 3D, which we were triggered because we couldn't understand how that would merge. So that's the blockage in bringing it to fruition. On top of that, we have the astrology, which is breaking the codependent frequency, which is quite horrendous in frequency. So when you're looking at it, what you do need to understand is in your egoic mind, which the sun has the Aries frequency, which is the egoic mind of self. So it could be potentially, you know, Aries energies are very positive that they get things done, but they also do come to, and it depends on the frequency it's at. Potentially for the last 2 months, a lot of you have been in heavy purge mode, heavy trigger mode, very aggressive, very angry at yourself in an awakened state, that you're looking at certain things that you tolerated and very angry at yourself that you partook in that. I mean, that is the aspect of a great awakening, because you're looking at it and you're almost repulsed by certain ways you perhaps dealt with your life. You might be to the point where you're thinking, have I actually awoken? Am I a lower frequency? It's very interesting to sit with your thoughts quietly and think, have I retracted backwards? Have I gone backwards? It's not that you're going backwards. It's that the feminines are being asked at the moment to pause. That, yes, you have done work. And yes, there is a process with masculines work and males in general, because this is collective energy. So when we talk about twins, it will always relate to the collective, because there will be certain pockets of people that one could deem as ascended souls, or people that are waking up and changing their frequency and tapping into the matrix and feeling those dynamics. So a lot of you who did do a lot of work last year, you're receptive to the environment like a psychic medium. So you're feeling the vibrations and you're feeling the collective consciousness. You energetically will go through that first. The masculines at the moment, because they're moving so very quickly, which is what you're not understanding, we need to do this transitional state. And how do I put it? For us to move forward, we need to purge a process that doesn't work. With the Aries frequency coming through, all of us collectively are going to be asked, what do we want? It's not that you're codependent for those of you who have done the work. It's that the healing, because at an egoic state with the sun frequency, you can see the flaws and plans. Connect in with the 5D, anchor your energy in. When you're seeing 144, 4411, yes, it is connected to union. It's also asking you to trust in the process, and it's asking you to anchor your energy in. Unfortunately, because there has been so many dynamics and a trigger point coming towards each, it's been very difficult to take that leap of faith forward. Now, when we look at the full card, it's very similar to the 0 degree point in Libra, which we experienced last month. We're now moving into the 29 degree point, which is the totality and the movement over for that final ending. As I said, we're ending a 37-year transit of the way in which we were doing things within also relationships. So that total end in a purge sense needed to be collectively transmuted. So feminines have been experiencing it very heavily. It's also when you're having an ascension and an upgrade with other chakras being activated, you will always need to pay very close attention to your lower chakra system. Yes, we have more than 7. We have up to 13 and more, depending on how ascended you are and what the energy is requiring for your life path. But because you're having an upgrade, what you'll find is you will energetically feel depleted. So you will feel lack of motivation. You will feel lack of passion. It might be increased. It might be depleted. I'm telling you, it's probably going to feel more depleted than anything. Mental fatigue, nausea, sinus, headaches, digestive-related issues, pain. Not knowing or feeling what you're wanting to manifest. So you're looking at your base chakra, your foundation, like what do you build on? What are we building? Bob the Builder. Also with the solar plexus, you know, you're looking at things and you're highly sensitive to that vibration because you're having a mass download. So that frequency, always keep an eye on the astrology, okay? Look at yourself as ascended masters. Those of you who have really worked on yourself, look at yourself as vessels that, while having an upgrade, pay always very close attention to your lower chakras. It's not you have a blockage in them. The energy and the frequency of the power within those chakras are going to be depleted. So energetically, you will be unmotivated to do things, okay? With that, though, it's divinely guided, as they say, because the egoic body in the old codependent fashion was, I don't believe in the 3D, because my mind is showing me, and this is where we do get a snag in the road when we're looking at spirituality. We're looking at the aspects that we trust in the 5D, and it's what has been governing us this whole time. Then we get to a point where looking at the 3D and we're triggered because we're like, how is that even remotely possible that that can come to fruition? How? Because our egoic mind is assisting with that and it's our blockage. You can't make this shit up. Now my twin's calling me. I did say to him, do you want to come on YouTube? I'll message him and say, honey, I can't talk. I'm really sorry. No can talk. I have told him I'm going live. It's been a very interesting night. I've had unexpected guests and I've had lots of phone calls and clients I've had to unfortunately reschedule due to such. So with the energy of what's going on, by us having our energetic shift backwards, potentially the last 2 months has been absolutely no movement. Now, I've been seeing totems and I've been seeing synchronicities. Train. If any of you have been seeing a bloody train or issues with trains, it's like, are we going to miss the train? Have we missed the train? Has the train broken down? Did we miss it? I've been seeing turtles and tortoises. Why is it so bloody slow? Why is everything so slow? Are we ever going to get to that destination? It's like that because we don't need to do such. We need to meditate. And energetically, have you ever noticed, and I did say this to giggle, have you ever noticed when you've been working on yourself spiritually, when there's a blockage, what do? And I know for me, and this all depends on how you are all individually, you shift your energy onto something else, a sense of avoidance. Because we did have such a shift last year, a lot of us are quite exhausted. So universe has taken divine intervention. And they're like, listen, Linda, no. You haven't purged and disconnected. And there's so many levels of disconnection to the point that we needed to sit, I wouldn't say in hermit mode, although, you know, our egoic mind might have thought, hey, all the old ways we were doing things, bath salts, smudge sticks, meditation. What's worked lately? Probably nothing. I've had people tell me they've gone to the beach and the energy's been horrendous. I've had people tell me that they've smudged their house and the same thing is still happening. The breathing out exercises, the bath salts, it's, yeah. Finances are coming, but again, it is about, you know, when you see spiders, it can correlate with finances, abundance. But again, self-worth. So when you've got a blockage, it's like, I don't believe this and that can happen. Do you feel worth it? You don't need to do things when you have self-worth. But the egoic mind and the experience of what you're purging is some of the aspects of things, because we had so many ascension symptoms, dark night of the soul, retrograde planets all last year, that we were exhausted, depleted. So energetically, we were like, right, 2019, let's get this on the road. Let's get moving. Only to get to a point where with all the energies we were feeling, again, stepping out of ourselves, looking at the external, we stopped letting go of things. Now, the let go effect energetically is being forced upon us in a pause button for the last 2 months. We do have Pluto and Saturn, which are both ending planets, going retrograde. By the end of the month, we have Saturn retrograde. Father of the universe, Jupiter, retrograde. Our spiritual self has been asked to look forward, but growth is backwards. Endings is let's think about what we need to end. Let's think about what ended. Let's reflect on that. Purging a situation has 7 stages of healing. Now, yes, we did a lot of that last year, but to get the whole 360 of it and absorb it and own it and be in that vibration, we need to now slow down and have a look at that. We need to give it the funeral it deserves. You know, a lot of people ask, how do you do the work on yourself? How do you do the healing? It is purely okay to cry. Very frustrating when you feel you don't have anyone to listen to you or hear you. Sometimes it's you actually saying it out loud to hear it, and for you to actually say to yourself for a change, it's okay you feel that way. You're not lower frequency. You're not a bad human being. You are trying. You are doing your best. That's all you can do. To look at it and actually give yourself the love and respect and integrity, which is what potentially people haven't given you. It's very painful to sit there and actually acknowledge the fact that there were certain things that you now know in an ascended sense that you are worthy of. But the aha moment of, oh my gosh, I can't believe I didn't have that. Why was that so? That was not fair. That was not just. A lot of you that are having the blocks with the frequency of your twin, it's kind of shitty because when you're an awoken soul, you're two energies now. You're the inner child of that pain body experience. You're also the awoken soul that is having this conversation with yourself. If you know how you're reacting to this. You know you shouldn't be looking at it this way. You know that's not what it actually equals. And it's very frustrating because you're in your conscious mind. You're an awoken soul. So you're potentially looking at situations and you'd love to judge the situation, but you know from what channel they're operating from. So although you have a vibration about it, the vibration is past tense. Yes, it's coming up in the current tense with the trigger with the person. But to be an awakened person is not fun. You would love to go back to just being the Walking Dead, not knowing what's going on. But you do. You know, we've got the astrology. We're tapped into ourselves. Yes, endings potentially are coming, but a lot of us, you can work through this. It's going to be different. You need to get to a stage you understand between now and the end of the month, it's a bumpy bloody ride. Pluto and Saturn do denote endings. Now, this could be a spiritual ending of a way of relating. It could literally be a 3D way of ending, of whether you spiritually feel that who you are today is in alignment with what the direct situation is within connections. Now, this could be with your family. It doesn't have to be a romantic connection. The interesting thing is, you know, where the planets are positioned is very close to the node, so it's also taking on the Cancer Capricorn frequency. There is a lot of anger building up. If there are lower frequency energies that are making you do something, you need to ask yourself right now, energetically, connected to your path, connected to your love interest, your soulmate, your twin flame, whoever. What do you want? What do you want out of your life? It's very hard to admit that something doesn't fit, but it's not wrong. And you need to find forgiveness at that level. It's a lot of throat chakra. It's almost owning your truth. It's not what another person says. It's what you feel. And unless you can acknowledge what you feel and then look at the connection and go, okay, these connections, how do they fit who I am today? Are they in alignment with who I am? Or am I getting to the point that I'm being asked to live in a particular way that is now not in alignment with me and I will be living a lie? You have to ask yourself that. Masculines are going to be triggered the next 2 weeks. Any client I've had has said their masculines are going through a transitional state. So men collectively, masculine frequency, are coming to a very, very awoken state. And compassionately so, feminines are transmuting that frequency. So a lot of you might have been saying, I can't feel my masculine energy. You're actually transmuting their frequency. You're transmuting an aspect of their pain body experience because you are always, even unconsciously so, tapped in to their frequency. There is a great deal of sadness for the masculines of where they feel energetically they wanted to achieve. There is a great deal of sadness consequence. When you haven't done that, all your life is incredibly. So potentially a lot of your masculines, you may be at an energetic level looking at the situation and thinking that this is going to take years. It's not going to take years. It's a very painful experience and it's happening very quickly. The shifts that they're going through is very, very fast. They're not wanting to go backwards. They're wanting to go forwards, but they're also spiritually having a funeral to their past. So many of you who are in the twin flame journey or connected with a partner, there is a lot of purging going on about what is and isn't working, and where am I dissolving inside a situation for the benefit of another human being. Does that make sense? Can anybody relate? Oh, did you have fun, Carmen? So there is, understand with love and compassion towards yourself, towards the collective, that everyone is scared. Once reached the 29-degree point, look at where the Aries moon was. I didn't look, but I should. This is a new start, like the Fool card. The ending out of this cycle is nearing. The way we are being in connections is nearing. Readjusting to how we want a connection is changing, which is very frightening. You know, the old paradigm was, this is so facetious and sarcastic, white picket fence, marry, kids, done and dusted. That has not existed for a very, very long time. And those who are graced with that are graced with that. But that's not to say it's happy and it's not a competition. Your norm connection might be two people living separately. The others may be, I'll see you every second weekend. Another's may be super old school traditional. And it's not that it's wrong. It's that we are coming to a state of being in connections very differently, because each person individually has a unique need. We're purging the past because we're preparing for a very different way of being. And it is very frightening, because it's almost like the energy of saying, is it okay for me to need a style of relationship that's unique for me? And it's not. That's unconditional love. The past tense has not been unconditional love. It's been conditioned. You're the hunter, you're the gatherer. Excuse my French, I'm the bitch at the sink, and we will live happily ever after. Life isn't a fairy tale. You know, a lot of times people are thinking that because they've had a lot that's gone down in a connection, there's no way there could be love. Life is not a bed of roses, and to have love, it's a vibration, it's a feeling, but there's work that goes into it. Look, when you're feeling triggered and you're thinking, I'm going to run away, look at your life and think, is that correlating with your childhood? Was there a consequence for an action? Did you not always want to be loved as a whole, for the good, the bad, the ugly? And that is unconditional love. Conditional love is, well, there's an expectation. There's an expiry date on that because it's not real. It's a codependent pattern. Okay? So love is not a contract. We're not animals, and even animals shouldn't be owned. It's like, to look at it so rigidly and understand how conditioned we have been, it's quite sad when you look at it. You know, I would rather have two people that are happy and human in a humanistic experience, finding the flaws in their energy and working through that, and yet imperfectly breaking up and coming back together again, but still going in, okay, let's try it again a different way. That's being human to me, and I have the utmost of respect for those of you who try. So anyway, let's get into the vibration of what's coming through for Sun and the Moon, and then we'll look at the masculine and the feminine. Shoot away if you've got any questions. And do brace yourself. Yes, I agree with you. It is frightening. If you're wanting the support during this transition, book a reading. It's going to fill up fast. There are a lot of people in trigger mode at the moment. A lot of people. Makes sense. I was almost feeling as though until this transit's over, nothing's going to happen. Nothing. Well, things are going to happen, but there's a pause with the new beginning, okay? Some things are coming to the surface to shift this energy. The overall energy at the moment, without doing the twin flame energy read, a hidden gift. We're actually, and it's in reverse. We're not seeing the benefit to this. It's because it hasn't ended yet. You know, when you're healing, there's 7 stages of healing. There's a transitional state. You know, you look at it from the inside, you look at it from the outside, you look at it from all 360s, and years later it can come back and you look at it again because you've matured in frequency. We won't understand the gift in this situation until we've transitioned over, okay? Well, Saturn retrograde does go for a few months, but this heavy energy is this month. So through to the end of the month. And it does get heavier and amps up by the 17th. 17th, 18th, 19th, and 20th is the heaviest. The interesting thing is the transition of season equinox is around the time of the moon, is around the time of the ending and new beginning. We also then have Pluto retrograde, which is about birth, death, regeneration, and what needs to change. It's going retrograde. We also then have Saturn by the end of the month going retrograde. So the energies are very heavy. And with the Aries frequency all being about self, your first house, obviously with the Libra frequency, it is about relationships and looking at them. The nodes being in Cancer and Capricorn, it can be what's working in your work. Are you passionately connected? You know, and really feeling like at times you'll know when it's out of alignment and what you need to own in a throat chakra sense, because it will feel anxious. It will feel toxic. And by owning that and looking at that and going, okay, who am I today? And it's not that you're a bad person if you have a need. If it and a lot at the moment is feeling completely zero, not clear. And that's why the hidden gift is coming up, okay? Now, with the sun frequency, which is going to be potentially an egoic thing because, you know, with the Aries frequency, we're getting triggered, we're getting angry. You're not perfect, okay? You're human. Don't freak out. You don't need to be perfect till the end of the month. Be yourself. Yes, operate from your higher consciousness. Things are divinely guided. Yeah, some of you might need to click and unclick the bell so that you can get the notifications. YouTube's changed a lot, so sometimes that does help. Okay, we've got this card in reverse. Now, it's at a 10, which is a complete ending, moving over to the end, totality. When it comes to the masculine frequency, the sun is a masculine frequency. The moon is a feminine frequency. Venus theoretically can be both, but it's deemed as feminine frequency. We've got the 9 of Hearts, fulfillment, harmony, protection. It's going to show us what's not harmonious. It's going to show us what's pretty shitty. And I did put adult content on this video because I knew I was going to swear. I'm sorry if anyone is sensitive, but, you know, this is really the frequency. It's going to show us what's not working, what's not in alignment, what needs to shift, what's blocking the path to our heart's desires. So it can cause triggers on both sides, and it can be interference in karmic frequency and BS going around where potentially this could be an opportunity for masculine or feminine to own their power. Each of us collectively in our own way or form. And we are looking at our lives from a singular point of view. Yes, the mission is we wish to have, you know, that connection, But if we can't look at it from our own perspective, we can't live for another individual. And this is why it's making different relationships. It's not a bad thing. It's almost like, I don't know, Dal, what do you want to eat for dinner? And then they're serving frog legs and you're like, I'm vegan. What do you want? Just an example. I don't know where the hell that come from. You've got to use comedy for this shit, right? Okay. With the moon energy, the reason this is coming up, and we deem this year as the Phoenix rising and the burn off of the old karmic frequency. This is a number 5 card, and 5 is all about endings. I'm telling you, you seriously can't make this shit up. Purification of soul in reverse. The reason this moon energy has come in is to end this, because it's like it's just going on and on and on. It's there to end things that shouldn't be going on. Is this ever going to change? I mean, hey, we're living in the 5D, right? We know the 5D. Trust in the process. Trust that universe does have our backs with things that they know. Saturn does as well, being the father figure of the universe. It's like, look, listen, Linda, you know this isn't working and you're still doing it. Something in everybody's life is not balanced. And sweeping it under the carpet for another 37 years is a waste of time. If you didn't think the last, depending on how old you are, regardless, this will be connected to a lot of people. This is like the entirety of your life for some of you, a big portion of your life for others of you. Do we not want change? We want change. Why are we fearing it? Trust in the process, okay? This effect has to come to fruition because it's preventing forward movement. If you stay stuck, you're living like that for another 37 years. If you can't check in with yourself and get to a point you can go, is this right for me? Nobody else is going to do that for you. You have to do that yourself. We are individually looking at ourselves and being loving to ourselves. You are not a bad person if you sit there and say, okay, this maybe needs to be talked about. And you don't have to shift the other person because you want them to be happy too. But you must check in with yourself and say, this isn't about them. This is very much about me. What am I wanting? And it's not just about twin either. Yes, of course you want to be with your twin. But what's that frequency mean? How will that look? How will that feel? I've been, since lovely Lysiana brought it to my attention, there was a time where the frequency was so heavy that I can literally say, in a purging sense, I didn't want to be positive because there had been so much negativity. And it's like, you're smiling. You're like, no, it's good, it's good, it's good. No, there were things that were not good. And unfortunately, empaths are super bloody tolerant. And after a while, you're like, I'm all down for, you know, healthy boundaries. You can lead a horse to water, you can't make it drink. You can't make a person ascend unless they're energetically ready. But when the external is not taking accountability for their side of the fence, you do not have to be a doormat. And so you do get angry at a frequency level. So I had to look at it. And from an energetic level, empaths will directly feel the vibration. So all the lower chakras I mentioned, you were getting triggered. You also were getting vibrations. It could be through downloads of music. It can be frequencies. It can be ringing in the airs. You could feel the energy at every level with negative frequency. It felt like a spiritual bombardment. It almost felt like you needed one of those chambers, you know, to put yourself into so that you receptively wouldn't feel the vibration anymore. And that's why I say it doesn't matter where you are. You could have been using bath soaps, chakra soaps, smudge sticks, herbal teas, Reiki, kinesiology. Yeah, it wasn't working. This burn off has to happen. The burning off of karmic frequency. They're actually allowing a person to own their power, to get to a point where they realise how much suppression of this constant, arduous crap can you go through before you say, no, No more and then. With our spiritual path. Interesting, and I'm going to pull a clarifier on this. Some of you with your masculine, and the reason I'm saying that the 6 energy is coming through, look at the happy rainbow. It's in reverse. Of course it's in reverse. We're going retrograde. This is temporary. Some of you energetically might not be feeling your masculine's energy, and you're going, am I a twin? Am I a twin? Why can't I feel this energy? It's coming out because you are looking at you. This isn't about anyone else. Yes, you're on a spiritual path. This is not about them. It is, but to disconnect, sometimes the frequencies go funky. You're one, right? Both of you are going through the same thing, right? You're both going through the same thing. Intimately speaking, you might not feel like so intimate. Some of you might do, but also for them to own that, you need to feel this disconnect. The codependent pattern is you both empathically are vibrationally connected. If we can understand that it's this person's job to know what they want and it's this person's job to know what they want, this person can't fill the cup, this person can't fill the cup. They've got to fill their own cups. Aries frequency. Eternal love, happiness, harmony, fulfillment. It's not happening right now. It's in reverse, right? You don't need to lose hope. Understand it's a process. Trust this month. It's going to do you a favor. Trust it. Anything that's coming up, purge it out. Let it go. Trust the process. Okay? When it comes to Venus, some of you aren't focused in on your dreams. Again, detachment. Self. Not romanticizing things. Not looking, you don't want to achieve something. You want to be something. You want to be in that vibration. I'm going to pull a clarifier on those 2 cards because I feel they've got additional info. And then we'll get into masculine and feminine. It's only 11:25. Jeez Louise. I was like, last 2 days, got to do this video. Everyone's wondering, got to do this video. Again, if you are wanting a booking, you can go to the link directly below. I'm a psychic medium. I'm a twin flame. Been on this journey for 18 years. Yeah, it's been fun. And no, it hasn't made me love my twin any less. At times, the disconnect energetically gets there. But let's just make it through this month, though. Let's just make it through. Okay. Interesting. The achievements at the moment have been hindered due to potentially karmic frequency. Trust it. It can be the direct astrology, but it can be the wounds within. I'm also picking up, and I'm going to pick an extra card for this because I'm picking up another energy. There. Okay. Masculines. Pardon me. Okay. It is the masculines because we've got the moon energy here, which is feminines. You're in reverse too. Look at us. We're all in reverse tonight. And yes, there are some upright cards. So they're not all reversed. Now, for the masculine, the reason why some of their achievements are being pulled back is so that they can see who their enemy is and deal with these aspects of misfortunes, temporary delay. Hi, Ashley. Feminines. You almost feel disconnected from your intuition right now. Anything in a sense of your path moving forward with a connection, with a romance, even those of you who are in a relationship. You're wondering how the potential is there. The interesting thing is, if you feel you've been put in the friend box, it's a no. You're not put in the friend box. It's a delay. You also may feel that you're having a lot of self-love that you're having to work on at the moment. And you're wanting your gifts. You're like, come on, come on. Where's the blessing through this purging? It's at a 9. It's so close. You're so close. What's the outcome for masculines? Interesting. They're seeing who's there for them and who's not. They're really seeing it. This delay is to show them. It's also to show them what they are and aren't committed to. Okay? They know, and they're going to see through this adversity who's been there for them. Who's been there for them. They know who their enemies are. They know why this misfortune's got there. And we feel that vibrationally towards ourselves as well. We are masculine and feminine, all of us. So part of us might be feeling, gee, I'm really angry at myself that I dealt with things X, Y, and Z way. We don't want misfortune anymore. A lot of times when you're looking at the 3D, it can be to a point you're thinking, oh, it'll never happen, this won't happen. Could you stay in a karmic relationship forever? Could you stay in a way of never saying what you want? No. We outgrow that because we change. So when you do look at the 3D and you are saying, oh, it's going to take years or it's going to be like that and, you know, they're never going to change, I am definitely not the same person I was 10 years ago. I'm not the same person I was last week. I was a bit of a cow this week, to be quite honest. I was awakened. I was aware of it. The days when I wanted this guy to call me and he'd never call me and now he calls me. So funny. Good old days. Hi, honey. He's probably in his truck watching my video. I did tell him until, you know, the astrology ends, can you just bubble wrap me, put me in the group, don't let me out till it's all over. You know, I don't want to argue with you. Okay, are we choosing left or right for feminines? Pick your poison. Feminines, left? I kind of figured it would be. Okay, to the left, to the left. What are we going now? It's like the Beyonce song. If I made a track for all the songs that helped me in a therapy session over the years of this journey, it would be a grand hit, I'm telling you. Yeah, to the right, no more to the left, no more, and then okay. We're moving on forward. We're moving on up. I feel feminines are ahead energetically. I don't. And the reason I'm saying that is because I have this massive epiphany. Now, I've been on the journey 18 years. And looking back at the patterns in the journey, the one thing I did notice is you will always notice when you have ended up breaking up with your twin, you already had your foot half in, half out. That runner-chaser mode is duality. The out of alignment mode is the out of alignment mode. We are always mirroring each other the whole way through the journey. You may operate from the 5D and have your downloads and do the spiritual work. Masculine simultaneously doing it, but in a very different way. Dense 3D. They potentially could be older souls that are super stubborn, but while we're in the codependent pattern, we pause that button. Anytime my twin and I have broken up, I've been thinking, I'm not sure if I'm ready for this. I'm just saying, if you even are remotely thinking about another person and you're thinking that seems simpler, your foot's half out the door. Vibrations. You feel it. Their energy, in a sense, of dealing with the 3D, yes. They have been awoken for a long time, and I actually do look at my twin and think, you know what, a lot of times he was actually more awoken than me. I just dealt with it differently. I wanted to condition it to a 3D relationship. It's unfortunately not. It's not a traditional type of relationship. That's the problem. Well, it's not really a problem. It's kind of good because I don't think I don't fit a normal traditional relationship anyway. You know that song that they say, I'm bad at love? Yeah. Hasley, I think it is. I'm bad at love. Yeah, I sing that regularly. I'm actually really good at love because I learn and I change and I grow and I'm trying to have forgiveness for myself. But at the same time, some of the worst people in a relationship are the best because you're trying. You're not lying about it, you know, hey. I've had 2 relationships, 2 major ones, 2 divorces. You know, I'm human. I tried. I used to say I was like Elizabeth Taylor. Anyway, feminines. To get union, a lot of you at the moment don't want the 5D, which is kind of good. It means you're anchoring it into the 3D. So the disconnect you're experiencing at the 5D is because you no longer just want a relationship in the 5D. It was really lovely up there, you know. There weren't trigger points. You were having this beautiful life up there. The children, the white picket fence, the romantic liaisons. It's great, but you need it to be anchored into the 3D. So some of the inspiration that the 5D was motivating you from, you've learnt a lot. You're now anchoring it in. So even if potentially some of you are going, I can't see it on the 5D. I don't want to live there anymore. I want a 3D. I need the 3D. I'm ready for the 3D. That's like Macca's. And then, do you want fries with that? And then it's like, look, you've painted every scenario of how it could have been. And now you're like, want to hear. Follow your good advice. Trust yourself. You know what is best for you. Aries frequency. Me mentality. Okay? Just because we're experiencing a very heavy dynamic, you'll always know. I mean, I think it's really funny. I have questions like, can you fall out of love with your twin? I want to fall on the floor right now and laugh because, trust me, I've had those thoughts. And energetically, whenever you see them again, you're like, stop it. Really? No, okay? If you are a true twin, and it's not that you have to be a romantic partner to them, although those of you who have been in that spiritual connection with them, yes, that's what it was meant to be. So you can, in a loving way, be happy for them, and you'll find it will be very difficult to hurt them. Feminine aspect of things, okay? Because if they're happy with someone else, even if that hurts, it's like, hey, you know. But that's dependent upon where you've got to energetically. When you do just own the reality of who you love, but love yourself, you must love yourself above all else. And that's where the codependent pattern breaks. I love myself enough to hear my vibration and know what is correct for me. Follow your own advice. You do know how to fill your cup. You do know how to love yourself. You do know your worth. So stop questioning your worth. Start focusing on the 3D. Start saying to yourself, I'm worthy of this. Everything will be in perfect alignment. Everything is happening to assist me moving forward. I am worthy of having this connection and I'm ready for it. You'll even get to a point that even the scary aspect of things where you're thinking, I don't think that would work, where you totally understand that the good, the bad, and the ugly, you will get to a point you will be all hands on deck. And that is because vibrationally, neither one of you have experienced a relationship that has been all hands on deck. And that's why and where the block stems from. You want union, you know what to do. Do the work. Allow this month to move through. Something comes about, don't hate yourself. You're human. Trust. It is a 3D relationship, but when we look at a 2-3D, we don't understand the 5D connection. The 5D connection, in fact, is not a delusion. It's a reality. It's a pre-manifested, pre-lived energy. You already are with it. You just need to move the blocks to get to it, to let it come in. And that can happen in 24 hours. The energy this month is going to be interesting. So potentially in an observant point of view, if you feel there's blockages, it's going to be removed, whatever that be. And trust in the process. And don't go, oh my God, I'm never going to see them. No, that's not going to happen. Some of you, again, I mentioned this, solar plexus, lack of energy, confidence, confusion, mental fog, issues making decisions, putting everyone before yourself. This is why the Aries energies come up. It's like, what do you want, girls? And it can be guys, whoever's got the feminine frequency, collective energy as well. Don't think that if you're not a twin, this doesn't relate to you. It does. What do you want? This is an interesting card. This is to reach union, 10. Nonsense. It's time to talk sense. Not what you don't want. That might be a conversation. But potentially what you do want. Actually having that conversation with the inner child, yourself, and going, happy ending, a white picket fence? No, what do you want? How does it feel? How does it look? What do you feel energetically needs to happen? Ask universe to help. Seeing 144 is asking you to tap yourself in to the matrix and go, universe, give me some tools. Help me out with this. They will give you everything you need. You need to trust that, but you also need to be in self-awareness and anchor your energy and get grounded. Balance your chakras, okay? Eat the food groups of that color. Use the aromatherapies. Put some background meditation music on in your house to change the vibration. Reflect on what you're thinking. Don't let the mind come so far. Yes, look at her eyes. She's like flipping the frick out. Right. That's funny because my twin loves this song called Who Killed Bambi. Yeah, he is a comedian. And it's a 41. 1444411. Conditions fall away. Memories no longer define you. Let it go. Okay? Don't forget who you are. What do you want? Who are you? How far have you come? It hasn't killed you yet. If you need help, reach out. Yes, the astrology is really heavy. It does cause great depression. You know, I would not be... Last year, I had emergency hotlines on there. I mean, I do have a client that did work in AAA, and there were people very depressed, hospitalised to a degree. Pay attention. If you feel that way, reach out. Go and seek professional help. It is hard. Experience and those pains that live in there at times can't be done on your own, and that may need outside help to support you. Never, ever, ever feel bad about that. The masculines. I'm telling you, the lower chakras. This used to be like to the point where it's super overactive, this chakra. Their crowning energy is they're wondering whether they can bring something to fruition now. They might not feel like so hot right now. They also might feel physically depleted, okay? They are doing a lot of meditation. They're using their masculine frequency. We have the left and the right side of the brain. Now, when we see 1111, yes, there is the connection to the awakening. The 222 is masculine. The 111 is feminine. Intuition. This is a number 2 course. Set your course. Know where you wish to go. Have a plan. The right direction. It's interesting because where you know your self-worth, where you know what brings you pain and pleasure, removing that to gain the intuition, it's kind of sad. Feminines felt constantly as empaths they needed to give. Masculines did, but in a different frequency. Because they energetically weren't being seen in a loving sense. This is not from feminines, okay? This did happen with other people. Energetically, they may have felt used, but in this way, okay? When you feel that's all people want you for and that's all you are, you become like that, right? They don't want that anymore. They're not willing to bargain or selling their soul to the devil. They're like, no, I'm a person here. I have needs too. You're going, and this is external factors. This is a pain body experience of them nurturing their soul. They're wanting to move away from a person and people, past tense, treating them like this, okay? They're afraid that maybe with their needs, will they be looked upon as masculine? You know, because there's hunter-gatherer mode, right? So there can be frequencies where they feel, look, this is the way people see me, but you see the truth and they know the truth, but owning it is a different thing, okay? They don't want it to be used anymore. I'll say that. And I feel feminines, you guys can directly relate. You know what you want and you have seen this person spiritually in the beginning who you thought their potential was. And it's not potential, hey, I think you're going to be a superstar. It's I see you. What's that movie? I See You. Interesting. Okay. Heart chakra, pain body experience. They are having heart chakra activations at the moment. They're creating their own happiness regardless of conditions. They're like, you know what? I've had a pretty shitty life. People haven't loved me. People have used me. People treated me like cheap. Feminines, this happened to you as well. I can't receive unless I give. I have to give, give, give. And that's where everyone collectively is at. It's like, what about me? I'm not an asset. I'm not a friggin' transaction. I'm a vibration. Acknowledge me. It is sad. No matter the conditions, they always had to make the best of it, even if it wasn't a loving environment. Now they're seeing the truth. I'm doing this rabbit hole. This has been a loop. They see the truth. Last card. Any questions? Yeah, they're not putting up with BS anymore. They're like, no more. The things that used to trigger them now don't. And I actually know. I've seen it. Okay, you don't want to. Feminines, you don't. Maybe some of you don't think you can be the queen. But I see some of you not wanting to be the ruler of it. You want to be, it's not necessarily an equal. You don't want to be domineering. You want them to want that. You don't want to push it upon a person. And that's self-worth to the highest degree. It's like, look, I'm not going to be showing up going, this is what you need to do. but own your crown, but no. It's interesting because this card's about declaring freedom, and it does equal to a 6, which is masculine frequency. It's in reverse. You don't want to leave, okay? You want to leave the crappy energy 100%, but you've done so much work, and the door is just there. You know, don't think that it has been wasted, okay? Most welcome. And the masculines, they've got never jam. They feel, and this is a number 8, infinitely speaking, they feel they have been putting up with BS for so long and playing it cool and not owning their throat chakra that, like I said to you, this is masculine and feminine frequency coming up. So if people are getting peeved off, understand they come from places, okay? Let's just have that higher consciousness that follow our own good advice. We've been there, we've done that. Yes, it feels horrible. I've tried all week not to flip my lid at karmic energies. I've really tried. I'm human. There's a point, but at the same time, I do know that, you know, look at the codependent patterns. And I mentioned this last time. Many people, when they hear karmic frequency, they're like, oh, that person. If that person has had to manipulate situations because they did not value themselves, that's where their energy's got to, because the spiritual work is, I'm worth it, therefore what is meant for me will always come towards me. If you see a karmic frequency and they're trying to manipulate a situation, take a situation, it's because they haven't done the work on themselves and they don't know their worth. So energetically, yes, a vibration happens between the two of you, but also at the same level, this has been a pattern in that karmic frequency for a while, and that will be with everyone they're with. But their cup is empty. And it's still sad because, you know, for a person to feel that way, whoever that is, male or a female, that they're not worth it. This is the paradigms we're breaking. So, hey, maybe we should be pulling the red carpet out for Aries energy. So that we can actually have that self-worth, have that self-love, want to have that, know to have that, so that we can change this frequency. Toast to that. Any questions? Then I'm going to go be a naughty girl and have a coffee and smoke. I don't promote cigarettes, by the way. Yeah, me too. Yeah, it's not fun. Well, technically it's not fun for them if they really did know who I am, but I'm just like, okay. Just go with the flow, Carmen. Let it come up and deal with it. Love yourself and go with the flow. And I'll definitely say disconnect to the discord around TF. Let them handle it. Don't be their therapist. Don't be their counselor. Do your work right now. Detach. It's too heavy. And it can be preventing the natural course of the situation to take place. Detachment does mean to the outcome as well, to allow it for where it needs to be and allowing them to handle the mess. Definitely. If TF comes towards you, hear them out. Other than that, disconnect. If they talk about it, quiet the conversation and say, how did that make you feel? Detach, detach, detach. Because you tuning into it is assisting with the 5D manifestation, but not of the high frequency, of the lower frequency, fair-based frequencies. What if this happens? What if that happens? Sometimes not knowing does help. Yeah, and it's depleting your energy, the karmic frequencies. I have been putting my headset on to light myself and to detach from their vibration, because the tone directly affects your vibration. The environment affects your frequency. I've detached and said I will not go to the home of the karmic because I don't wish to be in that frequency. And it's what's best. It's not necessary. I like my space. I have my life. I'm a separate frequency. Hot chocolate, anyone? It's normal, and that's what I was mentioning with the astrology. It is the first house. You are most welcome. And the writing is so small. Maybe I need glasses. P. Dalton. I will, Dale. Well, it's 12 o'clock here. I've got another 2 hours and my partner will be home. My good old TF. He's probably thinking, where is this woman? She's probably going to bed. Maybe he's checked YouTube. Hi, honey. Look, I thought about that the other day. Is there a bubble? Has anyone been thinking about the bubble? People be getting in my bubble and, this is my space. It can be your family, it can be your friends, it can be work, whatever. It can be whoever, right? Karmics. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen. It's going to happen, it's going to happen. I thought about it like, I would need to leave the country to get away from the amount of karmics that potentially, in a lifetime of 18 years, both my twin and I having a life, we would need to move out of the country. Perth is a small place. I'm just saying. Where do you go? A freaking bunker? Look, the bubble. My twin even mentioned the bubble. He's like, and I was like, what did she say? He mentioned the bubble. And from a masculine, that's pretty interesting. It's like, wow. Wow. Rot nest. Oh, no. Now, if there weren't any boats going out there, and I know damn straight that there's, sharks, I'd be down for that because I could just stay there like survivor. I've lived in a third world country before. I've made bread, milked cows, I've washed out of a bucket. Nothing I haven't done before. Maybe I'll go out bush. Peace and love, my love. Yes. Do some chakra work, guys. If you feel that you're feeling the energy now and you do think you'll need support and you want to make a booking, I highly recommend book it now. Book it now because it is filling up. I've got 2 last clients to do and then the rest of the week. It's going to fill up fast. If you feel you're going to need that support, book now before it fills up. Love and light, I will leave you and I will see you in support potentially if I'm not, hiding under my clientele list. I will see you potentially during the month. I am recording for March. Yes, the energy does shift. Yeah, I'm working through it. It's looking different. It's definitely looking different. Love and light, guys. Take care.